Hello everybody, this is Snarist again, and I'm back with my God of War 3 Chaos Mode walkthrough. This is part 7, Hermes BOSS. And it's a bit of a false title because most of this isn't going to be the Hermes boss fight itself, but it's just the final sequence there and everything else that leads up to it. There's a lot of exploration and a lot of things to collect, and I don't really classify Hermes as a true boss, but I guess he technically is, and he's not a fun fight at all, and you'll see why in a moment. So in the sequence here, you're just climbing up the chain of balance, and what I talked about before with the head of Helios being able to reveal some really sneaky walls and stuff, this is where the first one of that comes into play. So as soon as you get here, you can go up to the Flame of Olympus itself and interact with it, and it'll trigger a cutscene. But here I am with the Claws of Hades, so I can get around a lot faster. I think it's a neat little detail that when you go through that entire forum area there, you can actually see Hermes just chilling up on the top of the balcony, and Kratos is eyeing him up, and it just stays true, doesn't it? Where it's like, he knows that Hermes is there and being a pest, and he's just not bothering until Hermes starts getting in his way. By the way, those two red orb chests there, they don't have the most red orbs, but if you don't collect them before you go and chase Hermes, then you'll never have access to them again, because that bridge will be destroyed and those chests will be gone. So you go to the other side of where you came up with that chain there, and one of these wall panels has stardust on it. It's very hard to see, but you'll get 3 chests here, 3 red orb chests, and 1 containing an item. You can't break these crystals until you have the Nemean Cestus, but even when you get the Nemean Cestus, you can't actually come back to this area until the end of the game, right before the Zeus boss fight. And it does have a couple of chests in there behind it. Not that it matters in the end, but it's still a neat little detail. So there's going to be a few of these portraits on the wall that you got to reveal by stardust with the head of Helios, and it's just a little bit of exposition and a little bit of lore and everything. You only need to reveal 3 of these at most, and when you do, go to the go to the Flame of Olympus and just get that cutscene there. And then after it plays, you'll have to chase Hermes down, but you can do it in any order you want. You can go to the flame, get the cutscene, then reveal 3 of these sort of portraits here, and then this will play out. And chasing Hermes is not that bad. There's a couple of pretty annoying sections in it, but for the most part you can basically skip every enemy. So as far as Hermes goes as a character, there isn't really much to him. He's just a giant troll. He's faster than Kratos, so much faster, but he still likes messing around with them and playing with them. I still think he could have been one of the more serious threats in the game, but he just isn't. In fact, the way in which you deal with him as well and get him to where he's too weak to run away from you completely is really stupid. I love his dialogue, I love his voice actor, and the way he does things. He's such a dick. I just don't like the fight, because in the fight, when you try to parry him or you try to dodge or block him, he always stays on you, and he brushes past you, and he gets you in a little combo that you can't parry, you can't block, you can't do anything against it, and it takes off like half your health. It's stupid. So you have to cheese him to beat him. By the way, with this section here, if you just hit them with 1 heavy attack, they'll move out of the way. I've found in this section before that I've tried to use a light attack to clear the way, and they don't die in 1 hit. If you want to do fast, just use 1 heavy attack and then just start pulling yourself up. Those civilians there are yours to grab if you want to get some health, but they give so little it's not even worth it on Chaos Mode. Just keep chasing Hermes along here, and eventually you'll come to a giant courtyard area where there'll be a bunch of harpies and dogs attacking all the civilians, so it's good that they're distracted, but they can still hit you by chance. And you can skip that entirely if you want. I don't think in this walkthrough I do, after we go back and review my footage, but yeah, it's pretty easy to deal with them. You can use magic as well if you want, but I'd be careful with it, because in order to make the next fight a lot faster against Hermes, having a bit of magic is definitely going to help. Now I will say as well, when it comes to Hermes himself, because I'm used to using the Claws of Hades and getting it to level 3, the Claws of Hades only work well as an evade tool against Hermes. They're really, really good for that. But as far as a weapon for damage goes, the Blades of Exile is still the best. And I'm talking about the Plume of Prometheus, or at least doing your light attack combo and then ending it with a heavy attack, which will end it on the big slam he does. I forgot the name of the move, but it's pretty famous. And that's what you want to do. And with the blades being at level 3 instead of level 1 like I'm normally used to, this fight went by much faster, and I was all the grateful for it. Because fighting against Hermes is one of my least favourite parts of the entire game. I do not like it. Funnily enough, The Boots of Hermes are a really kind of shitty item to use. The Bow of Apollo and Head of Helios are so much better. But I will say the one benefit of using the Boots of Hermes is with the Icarus wings. Because if you didn't know, with the Boots of Hermes, when you get up in the air, if you try to evade, you can do an aerial evade with the wings and the boots as a combo. It's so good. So you can get away from enemies by jumping up into the air, then you can just dash away from them. It's actually a really, really cool combo. I mean, I don't know why you would need the boots to be able to do it in the first place, but I'm not going to question it because it's a really, really useful thing. You don't even need to upgrade the boots to do that. So yeah, just use the Head of Helios to knock the harpies out of the sky, Bow of Apollo to mock up the dogs and everything. The dogs are already distracted by the civilians, so they're not going to dodge your bow for very long. Pretty easy section to deal with. And speaking of upgrades, as far as what you want an idea of what I go with, in this walkthrough I'm leveling up the Blades of Exile to level 3, and then I'm saving all of my orbs entirely for the Nemean Cestus, because it's such a good weapon, and I'm going to get it to level 5 as fast as I can. And then afterwards I'm going to get the Nemesis Whip to level 5 as fast as I can. And then I upgrade the Blades of Exile to level 4 in this walkthrough, because I thought it'd be very, very useful to have a different kind of counter for Argo's Ram, you know, like a triangle counter, but it doesn't really do all that much more than what the Square does, because the counter you've already got for Argo's Ram with Square, where you push them away, it's already super useful. So it didn't need to change. But besides getting the Blade of Exile to level 3 and the Claws and Whip to level 5, the only other upgrades I would recommend is getting the bow to level 2 just to get a bit more damage out of it. And yeah, that's really all you need to do. Head of Helios already serves its purpose, even without being upgraded. The Boots of Hermes has no real purpose in combat, it does barely any damage, and you've already got the usefulness of, you know, using the wings to do an aerial evade. And the Claws of Hades serve no purpose at that point. I know people have talked about using the Gorgon Serpent Soul at level 3 with the Claws of Hades so that you can freeze the satyrs, but because it's so unreliable, and I found a much easier method of dealing with it, then yeah, I just avoid the Claws of Hades altogether, other than evading early on in the game. So Hermes' coin is behind that head statue. If you die against Hermes, you'll have to do this whole exploration thing all over again. But I think it's a cool little detail that you can see he's trying to run away and run along the wall to give you the slit, but he's bleeding that much that you can't. So he runs all the way around trying to get away from you, and he's waiting back here for you to leave, and then he comes back out here. But it doesn't work, he can't get away. So he has to fight you. Now what he'll do here is sometimes he'll jump towards you to try and drop kick you, and you can use the left stick to turn around and catch him off guard. But because you don't know how he does that at all really, it's so hard to judge and so hard to time, and sometimes he misses anyway. You want to keep away from him until he runs around and starts doing that, and then you catch him off guard like that with the Plume of Prometheus, or just doing like the full combo here. Now if you hit him like that, that's all good, but something you've got to be aware of as well is that when you dodge, as long as you're on screen after he starts running, he'll keep on chasing after you and there's nothing you can do. So you need to use the Claws of Hades just to get as far away from where he is as possible and keep evading around him, and you'll usually be safe. If you move too far towards him when you're trying to do that combo, he'll end up hitting you. And so he just follows you around like a pest. He's so annoying. I don't want to fight him like this, but I have to because he's such a bitch. But again, level 3 blades, this fight goes way faster. And it's great. I'm super thankful. And I don't even need to use any magic. So yeah, just use the claws, keep away from him. So he runs into you by accident as well. It's so... Look at that. So stupid. You can't parry him, you can't dodge him, so you gotta cheese him like this. I shit you not, I've done walkthroughs where I upgrade the Claws of Hades, but I can't use them in this fight because it's just not useful for attacks. So I have to just wear him down like this with the blades at level 1, and this fight can go on for like 5 minutes. Whereas in this it only goes for 2. And if you die you have to go right back to the beginning of it and everything. So he's just being a coward. This could have been such a cool fight, and I hate the camera too because you can never tell how far you are away from him. You could move towards where he's not on screen, and then bam, he's right there and he just starts running towards you. So as soon as you get 3 hits of that 3 times when you get the health orbs coming out, Then you can finish him off and you'll get the Boots of Hermes and the very useful Icarus Wings upgrade to be able to dodge in the air. And that's pretty much the end of this chapter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.